A classic is always a classic, but some age better than others.
Really?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 video games that aged well.
Time for a little payback.
For this list, we're looking at games that are at least 10 years old. We're not ranking these games by how good or bad they were at launch, but rather how well they've stood the test of time. So, if they were released today, would they still be good? Number 10, The Curse of Monkey Island.
Let's head on out and find our fortune, guys. This might be more difficult than I first imagined.
If you haven't played through any of the Monkey Island games, just skip through to the third one.
I can't. I'm washing my hair tonight.
The 90s style puzzle solving might seem a bit obtuse, but the jokes and the amazing music are both timeless, making it almost as fun to watch as it is to play.
To become a pirate, the audio books on Parrot are the key. You get a set of 12 parrots, one a month.
The cartoony look of the game still looks fine today, even if the scum engine it used was already being phased out when it was released. Number 9, The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. The Nintendo GameCube's nautical classic will be playable forever. Those cel-shading graphics and the youngest ever Link did cause some controversy among purists when it was revealed, these design choices gave the graphics more longevity than you'd initially expect. Even with constant mentions to the events of Ocarina of Time, the game was able to carve out its own story that will still be as enjoyable for years to come. Turning what many thought to be an underdog into one of the very best in the series. Number 8, Super Metroid. This SNES action game is widely regarded as one of the best early generation console games of all time. When it was released, the game surpassed its other contemporaries in terms of story, atmosphere, and graphics. But even today, the non-linear exploration and the heavy atmospheric focus on isolation make it just as spine-tingling as ever. Number 7, Starcraft.
You want a piece of me, boy?
A common problem with strategy games is that both sides often mirror each other for the sake of balancing the game.
Oh shit.
StarCraft changed all this by introducing 3 separate sides that all played differently, while still maintaining a careful balance.
Your forces are under attack.
The reason StarCraft is still so popular to this day is that nobody has really been able to replicate that balance since.
You're jacked up and good to go, Francis.
It's essentially the chess of the real-time strategy world.
Hey Sarge, why we always gotta listen to this shit for anyway?
Number 6, Star Fox 64.
Do a barrel roll.
Star Fox was among the best games on the console.
You've become quite a pilot.
Blasting around and saving the Lilat system as Fox McCloud is an experience made complete by smooth animation, endearing voice acting, and differences in gameplay paths.
What's wrong? Come a little closer.
These features were amazing at the time and still have charm, as do the colorful graphics.
I guess it's your turn to be thanked.
Number 5, Diablo 2.
The time has come to assume your true form.
If it ain't broke, there's no need to fix it. Killing monsters to get better gear to kill bigger monsters to get even better gear was a gameplay loop that was addictive as hell back in the year 2000, and still is now. The graphics may not have been anything to write home about, but the fact that all of the sprites are drawn instead of textured polygons means that they don't look worse and worse over time. Plus, with 3 successive difficulty modes and characters that you can push to level 99, it's really easy to become addicted all over again.
You've done exactly as you were meant to do.
Number 4, Street Fighter II Hyper Fighting.
Round 1, fight!
Found in arcades worldwide, Street Fighter II Hyper Fighting gets better with age.
Perfect.
Street Fighter is often praised as one of the most balanced fighting franchises, and Hyper Fighting is the best of them all. Each character now has an ability that can counter Hadouken spammers, and the increased overall speed makes it remarkably responsive, even by today's standards. With all the versions out there, it can be very confusing to figure out which is the best Street Fighter game, and our vote is for Hyper Fighting.
You win!
Number 3, Half-Life 2.
You're Freeman, aren't you?
Well, I wouldn't believe it if I couldn't see it with my own eyes. Dr. Gordon Freeman himself.
If you know your gaming history, or at least PC gaming history, Half-Life 2 is definitely no stranger to you. Still, it's amazing that over 10 years later, many shooters today fail to match what Half-Life 2 delivered in terms of visual storytelling, gameplay variety, exciting set pieces, and frightening AI. It's ironic that while physics in video games are yesterday's news, it seems that Half-Life 2 is still one of the only places where you can find physics puzzles that make real-world sense. Number 2, Super Mario World. This is no secret to the guys over at Nintendo, but simple design with a bright color palette pleases crowds for decades. As we've seen in other games on this list, cartoony graphics may not have the wow factor when you first see them, but they never really go out of style either, and nowhere is this on better display than in Dinosaur Land. No, not the Mushroom Kingdom. When you throw in great level variety, secret paths, and a huge amount of content, it's no surprise that Super Mario World is a classic that hasn't aged a bit. Before we get to our top spot, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Tetris. This Soviet-era Russian game fits perfectly into first place on our list. Tetris's success comes from its simple, increasing difficulty and the almost psychological need to see those rows fade away. Complex games and graphics be damned. This addictive little game has captured the hearts and minds of gamers for over 30 years and is the perfect little pocket puzzle. Simply put, Tetris holds up so well because it was basically perfect right off the bat. What else could you possibly add to the game? On top of it all, because it doesn't require that much memory to play, there's literally a version for almost every single device imaginable, gaming console or not. Do you agree with our list?
Yep. You don't say much, do you?
What other old favorites do you think stand up well next to today's games? For more nostalgic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
All aircraft report.